Hey, what's up everyone? Nick here. Welcome back to the Batman Arkham City Remastered New Game Plus walkthrough. Again, remember this is the version on the Return to Arkham, so this is on PS4, 2-disc set, and yeah, we're moving on to, what is this, part 4 of the walkthrough. So again, like I said in previous videos, this game is kind of all one fluid experience, so there's no really, there's no way to like split it up into specific chapters, so I'm just going to kind of do my best job at splitting it into logical sections. So on average, most of the videos I'm shooting for about 20 minutes long. This one, though, is going to be about 45 to 50 minutes long. Again, it's just kind of the logical flow of the game, and I think it'll make sense as you watch it. But this is actually a really cool part. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. We're trying to get into the museum, which is where Penguin has kind of holed up, and there's going to be a really cool boss fight at the end of this level. So in case you haven't played the game before, I'm not going to ruin it by telling you who, but it's a really cool, beloved, kind of underused DC character. So that's one of the things I loved about Arkham Asylum. And so the good news is, let me just preface this by saying, the beginning of this video here, there's not a whole lot going on. It's a pretty simple task to follow, so I'm going to use this time to kind of explain to you the story and what's been happening and why I love these games so much. And if you have any opinions on why you love these games or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment down below. But anyway, as I mentioned in the first video, I'm a huge DC Comics fan. I actually collect a lot of the DC comic books. I collect every Batman family book, so Batman, Nightwing, Batwoman, Batgirl, Red Hood, all of those. I collect each of their individual comic books. I know just about everything there is to know about the character and the family of characters. It's truly my favorite, probably my favorite piece of pop culture, is the Batman universe. And that all started because of the fantastic game that Rocksteady made called Batman Arkham Asylum. So that is the first game in the franchise. However, chronologically, it's the second game in the franchise. So they released another game called Arkham Origins. That was actually produced by WB Games Montreal, because what happened was Rocksteady was working on Arkham Knight at the time. So they said, hey, we're gonna outsource the Arkham Origins to a different company, and so that was WB Montreal. So anyway, you're going to get your way into the museum here. There's two enemies with knives. They're a little different to take down. Instead of countering, you're going to actually hold the counter button and back away from them, and Batman will dodge them like 3 times, and then you can go ahead and swing at them. So anyway, here's kind of the story so far. And again, remember, I do have hardest difficulty walkthroughs for Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum on my channel, so I'm going to kind of tell some spoilers from those games, so if you want to watch those, go ahead and find those walkthroughs on my channel. Anyway, in Arkham Origins, we have Batman just beginning his career as the Dark Knight, or I should have said Bruce Wayne just beginning his career as the Dark Knight. The city of Gotham still thinks that Batman is an urban legend. It's a rumor. Commissioner Gordon is denying all, or at the time, he's not actually commissioner yet. He's Detective Gordon or something, but he's denying the existence of a Batman. And so what happens is Black Mask, really cool villain in the Batman universe, his real name is Roman Sionis, and he's kind of like a rich businessman that turned to a life of crime. He puts out a hit on Batman on Christmas Eve night, and he hires eight of the best assassins in the world to take Batman down. So one by one, Batman encounters these assassins and, takes them out of the picture. And what you end up finding out, and this is where the spoiler comes in, so again, if you don't want to hear this, you might want to watch the walkthrough for yourself, but it's a really old game, so you've probably already heard this. It turns out that Black Mask is not actually Black Mask. It's Joker wearing the Black Mask, and he actually, he kind of took Roman out of the picture. And so you don't really get to learn a lot about Joker's backstory, but it is kind of touched upon. You also get to see Harley before, when she's actually just Harleen Quinzel. She's someone that works at the Arkham Asylum, I think. At least in the video game, that her origin story is, that's her origin story in Arkham Origins. But anyway, the point, it's not really about Harley. She just kind of makes a brief appearance. Anyway, so basically you get Batman and Joker at odds for the first time. Batman obviously wins. He kind of becomes friends with Gordon on the way, and then you can fast forward to Arkham Asylum. In Arkham Asylum, Joker intentionally gets captured. He gets thrown into Arkham Asylum, and he did this on purpose because he has this huge thing planned where he basically takes over Arkham Island. He busts out all the criminals, he takes over Arkham Island, and it turns out he's been working a while on this thing called the Titan formula, which is basically an enhancement on Bane's Venom formula. So real quick, right here, you're going to make your way to the second of these jammers. You can use the disruptor to jam their guns, and there's only 3 enemies up here. So with those 2 guys out of the way, you can just go ahead and stealth take down this guy because he has the only active gun left, and then just take out the other 2 easy peasy. So anyway, Joker has this Titan drug. He goes one-on-one against Batman in the asylum, injects himself with the Titan formula, and turns into this giant brute, and then yet again Batman still defeats him. So I forgot there's actually one more guy with a gun up here. I should have taken him out first, but it's okay. He tries to get a shot off on me, but luckily I did a quick fire gadget and took him out of the picture. Not too hard, pretty simple here. And there's going to be one more jammer we have to get, and it's going to be underground. And it's going to involve another stealth section. But anyway, so Batman, saves the day. He takes down Joker, and now we fast forward to Arkham City. So that was a very, very brief synopsis of those 2 games. They're fantastic games. They're marvelous games. Arkham Origins, believe it or not, Arkham Origins is actually my favorite game in the franchise, and that's probably the dispopular opinion, but that's just my opinion, and I'll explain why maybe a little later. But anyway, I owe so much to Arkham Asylum because what happened is in Arkham Asylum there's the Riddler, and he has spread out all of these riddles all over the asylum, and some of the riddles they actually reveal stuff about some of the villains. So real quick, I'm going to throw a smoke pellet here because I don't feel like dealing with these 2 guys, and I'm just going to glide right here into the subway entrance, and that's a really easy way to bypass those 2. But anyway, Riddler, he spreads his riddles out to the asylum, and these riddles, they actually share information about a lot of the lesser-known Batman villains and DC Universe villains. So while I was playing that game, I learned so much about the Batman universe. I learned about all these villains I'd never heard of because, pretty much everyone's heard of the Joker. And then pretty much everyone has heard of Bane and Catwoman and Two-Face and the Riddler. And then most people have heard of Scarecrow, but there's a lot of villains from the comic books that a lot of people don't know about. And it's not that it's their fault, it's just that they're not, the popular villains of choice. So the Batman Arkham Asylum game, it really taught me a lot about these really cool and underused villains that the DC Universe has to offer. And so once I played that game, I got really interested in Batman and his universe, so I started collecting the comic books. When I started collecting Batman books, that's when I got interested in Nightwing, and then I got interested in Justice League, and then after Justice League, I was like, whoa, look at all these other heroes I never knew anything about, like Aquaman and Green Lantern and Green Arrow and Flash and Wonder Woman. So before I knew it, I ended up collecting pretty much every book that DC Comics published, and it's just become a huge part of my life. So, I mean, now I go to the comic book store every week. I'm good friends with the guy who owns the store, and it's kind of like a really fun place that's a safe haven for me. So, Arkham Asylum really did change my life, and I think it's a really powerful statement to say that a game was able to do that. Now, I'll go ahead and explain some more, but we're going to enter this room here. This is a stealth encounter, and you can see that one of the enemies has the signal jammer, so we're going to try to make that enemy our priority so that we can use our detective vision as it's intended. Now, one thing you can do is you can use your disruptor on the signal jammer, but it's not always necessary. Usually you'll be able to isolate the guy with the signal jammer and just take him out like regular. But as I said, that's kind of what makes this game hard when you make a walkthrough, because there's no perfect way to do this. You just got to kind of go with the flow. That's essentially what makes up the Batman Arkham games, is going with the flow. In fact, they often refer to their combat system as like the free flow system. So it makes sense. But anyway, like you see right there, I just kind of surveyed the area. I saw that guy was isolating himself, and I took him out. I didn't need the signal jammer to take him out. So you don't always need to see the enemies with detective vision. Does it help? Of course, but it's not always necessary. But now you see here, because all of them are kind of distracted, I'm going to go ahead and sneak up and take another guy out. And that's really just what you're going to want to do. The longer you can stay in stealth, the better. And you have so many gadgets. You have freeze grenades. You can freeze an enemy in place. You have disruptors. You have electrical charges. There's a lot you can work with here. You have sonic batarangs. So just pick your choice. Anyway, so what I was talking about is, a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but Arkham Origins is actually my favorite game. Because here's the thing: when the game came out, it got the lowest reviews in the franchise. Now, granted, the reviews still weren't low. It was like 8 out of 10. Like, I think IGN gave it a 7.8 out of 10. And IGN, this was actually a really good analogy, I thought. They said that Arkham Origins is like day old, or they said Arkham Origins is like not so great pizza. You know, it's not the best pizza in the world, but it's still pizza. It's still freaking good. And that's a really, really good analogy, because it's really true. They were basically saying that the problem most people had with Arkham Origins was that it was really just Arkham City with a different storyline. There were no real improvements to the game. There were no changes. It was really just like Arkham City. Pretty much everything was the same, except of course for the story and the setting, or for the characters and whatnot. So that's what they kind of meant. They were saying, like, you know, it's just like the other Arkham games. It's like good pizza, but it's not great pizza, but it's still pizza. You know, I'm not good with words, so I'm not really doing the game justice. But the point is, Arkham Origins is just like Arkham City, and Arkham City is a fantastic game. The thing Arkham Origins did add, though, was really, really fun boss fights. So as I said earlier in this video, in Arkham Origins, Black Mask hires assassins to come and fight you. Now, some of those assassins include Firefly, Deathstroke, Electrocutioner, Copperhead, and a couple others. The boss fights in that game were tremendous, particularly the Deathstroke boss fight. I think that was one of the best boss fights in a video game I've ever done. I really enjoyed it, and it was one of the most fun things I've ever done in an Arkham game. So that's why I liked Arkham Origins more, because it was essentially just like Arkham City, which is already a fantastic game, but then they threw in this new element of these really cool and unique boss fights, and that's what really kind of won me over. So, like I said, most people probably won't agree with me, but Arkham Origins is my favorite game. But I will say that Arkham City follows up with a very close second. Arkham Asylum is my third favorite game, and then, believe it or not, Arkham Knight is my least favorite game in the franchise. It's still fantastic. I really kind of compare it to Uncharted 4. You know, with Uncharted 4, it's still a great game, but in comparison to the other three, I don't care for it as much. And Arkham Knight is the same thing. Arkham Knight is a fantastic game. It is a masterpiece of a game, but when I compare it to the other ones, it just doesn't appeal to me as much as those ones. So, and you know, that's all personal opinion, but you know, those are the types of things I like to share in the commentary when I have the chance. Anyway, now that we've taken out all 3 military-grade jammers, we can come back to the museum, enter the password dinosaur, and now we are good to go. So the museum is a kind of a long section in its own right. So right now we're at about 15 minutes in, little less than that. And there's still, you know, a lot of stuff to do. So, but the museum's a really cool part. There's a lot to see in here. There's a lot of collectibles in here if you happen to be going for the collectibles. But yeah, so the museum is great, and what's going to happen is as soon as you take out these guys, there's going to be a brief little dialogue.
You're safe for now.
Thank God.
You may want to hold off on thanking him until after you've answered my question. Who are you?
Sorry, man. I'm a cop. Gordon sent us in here. I'm from the 13th Precinct, part of the strike team. Been in here since the beginning.
If Gordon sent you, you'll know the code.
Oh, yeah. He said, oh, man, what was it?
The code. Now.
It's Sarah. He said to tell you the code is Sarah.
You're safe, officer.
It's Jones, Batman. Elvis Jones.
Gordon always said he planned on sending your team in.
Yeah, he wanted to know what was going on in here. I guess we found out. There were 10 of us. Hopefully, there still are.
I told Gordon it was too dangerous to send you in. Stay here. If the rest of your team is alive, I'll find them.
Alright, so after you're done talking to him, you have your objective. We have to rescue the remaining GCPD officers. And you're going to download this little thing into your database right now, and it will show you all the officers that you need to rescue. It's really, that's kind of the beauty of these games, is that you have room to explore, but there's never really room to get lost, and that's why I really enjoy them. So like this museum area here, there's a lot of little secret areas with riddles and stuff, and there's a lot of room to explore and have fun, but at the same time, you're not going to get lost. There's always kind of one clear path you should be taking, or you know, a fork in the road that has maybe 2 or 3 clear paths. But the point is, go ahead and proceed down this hallway, and we're going to see one more cutscene, which kind of sets us up. Little piece of trivia, that's a painting of Penguin when he was a kid with his parents, and then here's a cutscene.
Help me!
I wouldn't do that if I was you. Show them what we got. So, Batman, you here for the cops, the Iceman, or me?
I was only here for Freeze and the hostages. But now, I'm taking you down too.
Ooh, aren't you scary?
You're about to find out.
Am I really? Listen, I'm what you might call a collector. If someone wants it, I like to think I've got it. And if I don't have it, I'll get it. So here's the thing. Back there, I've got a cabinet with your name on it, just waiting to be filled. And, as luck would have it, here you are, standing just where I want you. So, what do you think? Are you gonna be a good boy and give up nicely?
You're not giving orders here anymore, Cobblepot.
I was hoping you'd say that. Look around you. This horrible bunch of psychopaths are all begging to join up with me. But unfortunately for them, I only take the best. And today, best means whoever can kill you. Come on out, lads. It's initiation time.
So now we have a pretty big brawl, and this is the perfect time for me to share with you some strategies when it comes to the fistfights in this game. So again, we're playing on New Game Plus mode. That means that there are no counter indicators. So you really have to judge your enemy's movements, and you have to see when are they going to punch me. Now that move right there, I've talked about that move throughout the entire walkthrough. It allows you to jump up and throw batarangs at every single enemy that's currently lying on the ground. I don't know if you saw that right there, but I just knocked out about 7 guys with one move. It is a truly overpowered move, and I'm basically just going to spam that move throughout the majority of this playthrough because it really is that powerful. I mean, you can see I've taken out almost everyone, and my combo meter is just at 33, and that's kind of amazing. That move is insanely powerful. Unfortunately, I wasn't perfect. That guy ended up getting a shot in on me, but that's okay. But again, that move is a move that you can get in the upgrade section. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's something like, it's an instant takedown. It's the one you get, I think, when you press X and circle or A and B, depending on what system you're playing on. It's something like the instant batarang takedown. Overpowered move, insanely effective, and really satisfying. It is so fun to take down like 7 enemies with literally one move. It's insane. Alright, and so now I'm kind of glad I told you guys a little bit about Arkham Asylum at the beginning of this video, because this is the Titan. So I told you in Arkham Asylum, Joker made this Titan formula that basically transformed people into these brutes, and this right here is a Titan. So this Titan, you know, sure enough, this penguin somehow got his hands on this guy from Arkham Asylum and decided to hold on to him for just this specific occasion. But this is the Titan. This is exactly what I was talking about. These are the things you fight in Arkham Asylum, and this is the thing that Joker makes himself into at the end of the game. Anyway, after you hit the Titan enough times, so the best way to hit him is to just stun him. So you can do a triple stun by pressing circle 3 times. And then you can actually jump on top of the Titan, and you can use him to take out a lot of these little guys. The controls are a little wonky, so don't count on it. But the best thing you're going to want to do is take out the little guys before taking out the Titan. That's usually the best approach. I took a hit right there, unfortunately. Anytime the Titan charges at you, you just kind of want to evade over an enemy, and that should allow you to dodge the attack. But yeah, once you take out all the little guys, the Titan is really easy to take down by himself. So that's kind of the strategy I'm going for here. You can see I'm just not really even paying attention to the Titan. I'm just punching all the little guys. Whenever I see the Titan getting ready to charge at me, that's when I'm going to do an evade move. Sometimes he'll pick up people and throw them at you like you saw right there. So again, anytime you see that in your peripheral vision, just dodge it and you should be fine. So all I'm trying to do is build up my combo meter so that I can use that, so that I can either use an instant takedown or that battering attack. So it might take a little while. You know, fighting these guys is significantly more challenging when you have a giant Titan running around. But overall, it shouldn't be that hard. And then with all the upgrades you've made to your health at this point, you really don't have anything to worry about. So you see I've gotten hit by the Titan twice now, and I'm fine. And anyway, so now that all the little guys are out of the way, I'm just going to run up to the Titan, triple stun him, and then finish him off with a powerful beatdown. Now, the reason I recommended taking out the little guys first is because you can see here that the Titan goes down instantly now. Had I stunned the Titan while the little guys were still around, the Titan wouldn't have died. He would have dropped to his knee, and then I would have jumped on his back, and I would have had to repeat that process 2 or 3 times. So, anyway, to get past this little puzzle, you're going to throw a remote control batarang through the electricity, steer it all the way around the room to this button here, and that will allow you to proceed onto your path. And I should say, real quick, I want to once again just little apology. In a perfect world, I'd like to upload 1 video a day on my channel, sometimes 2. So the reason I didn't publish a video on Friday and Saturday is because I was taking the physics GRE, which was the hardest test of my life. And then the reason I didn't publish a video on Monday and Tuesday is because I had a test. This morning. So let's see, what day is it? This video is going to release on Wednesday. I had a test on Tuesday morning, and it was in Classical Particles 3, which is a senior level course that I'm taking. The test turned out to be really easy, and I actually wasn't worried about the test at all because I got an A in Classical Particles 1 and an A+ in Classical Particles 2. So I really wasn't worried about the test, but I still, you know, whenever I have tests, I kind of prioritize those over the channel because that's just something I have to do. But anyway, so I always like to just apologize because I do like to try to do 1 video a day, but sometimes it's just not really in the cards. But I should be able, I think, I should be able to get 1 video up a day for this game starting now. So I don't foresee any problems that are going to stop me from doing that. And so go ahead and get your way into here, go through the door, and there's going to be another short little piece of dialogue. So you can see how all of this stuff is frozen. It's kind of the indicator that Mr. Freeze is about to get involved. But here you go.
Stay where I can see you, Batman. You wouldn't believe the fight the old snowman put up. Still, I got what I wanted. That's all that matters. Hold still, boy.
No! No!
When you're done in here, feel free to join me in the Iceberg Lounge so I can kick your ass again. Enjoy the copsicle.
Please, help me.
Alright, so you're going to have to glide down onto the ice. And you're going to have to be careful here.
Unstable. I need to move
Because,
slowly.
believe it or not, there's actually a freaking shark swimming around in here. And if you move too quickly on the ice will break, and the shark will take him down. And unfortunately, this is not Adam West's Batman, so Batman probably doesn't have shark repellent in his bat belt. If you don't understand that reference, I feel bad for you. But that's probably one of the most popular Batman jokes in all of pop culture is in the old Batman movie, the 1966 Adam West Batman film. Him and Robin are hanging from a ladder from a helicopter, and there's a shark under them, and Batman has shark repellent on his bat belt, and it's just kind of funny because people often joke about what doesn't Batman have, and they actually made a really, really cool reference to that in the Lego Batman movie. I saw the movie not too long ago, but I can't remember exactly how it played out, but Batman ended up having that shark repellent on him in the movie. And it ended up saving him. So, I don't know. It's probably pretty useful to have. I just don't know how often Batman's going to be encountering sharks. Alright, so anyway, little shortcut here. I don't know if it's necessarily a shortcut, but if you go... So this isn't the way you're actually... oh, never mind. You are supposed to go this way. I forgot. There's another police officer frozen right there. For some reason, I was getting ahead of myself. I thought I was somewhere else. But yeah, so you're going to rescue that officer there. And now what you're going to do is you're going to stand on this little floating platform. And you're going to use the bat claw to get yourself around. You can see there's another officer right here. Make sure you're in a good position because you don't want to fall off that thing. Alright. So now we're good to move on. We've saved all 3 officers in the area.
He stole it from Mr. Freeze. I'm getting it back.
So now you can hop back onto the ice. And again, you just want to move slowly. It's one of those things you just kind of got to do. It is kind of nerve-wracking. Especially if you like the first time you're playing, you don't expect it. And I think the first time I played and I just ran on this and the shark got me, and it did scare me. It startled me a bit because I just really wasn't expecting that to happen. And it's one of those things you can't actually fight against. You know, you can't fight the shark. It's just like an instant kill. Anyway, there's a hidden barrier here, so use your device to solve this code, and that will actually shut down the barrier that you at first couldn't see, and now you can go ahead and run at these guys. And they actually get kind of startled because, like I said, before you solve that puzzle, if you try to run up to them, this gate will shut in front of you, and it will block your way. Alright. So now we're going to continue on, and we're going to come to, not, I wouldn't call it a boss fight, but it's just a little fight. So you're going to come to this room here. You can see Mr. Freeze. He's actually being held captive in that museum display. And as you try to explode this wall, another one of these big one-armed guys is going to fight you. So this is the twin brother of the one that we fought in the steel mill. So it's kind of funny because one of them works for Penguin and one of them works for Joker. But yeah, same essential strategy here. You can actually shoot your shock charge at him and he'll swing his weapon around and hit the little guys for you. But really you're just going to hit him a few times, jump over him, hit him a few more times, and it's at the end of the day it's actually really easy. So you see jump, hit, jump, hit. I should have taken out that little guy first. I always despise when my counter or when my combo gets interrupted. It's a really annoying thing that happens. But anyway, jump, hit, super easy to take these guys down. And now you can proceed back here, and there's going to be a cutscene with the one and only Mr. Freeze.
Joker's cure. Where is it?
Forget the clown. I want Cobblepot. He has my suit, my weapons. I'll end him for what he's done to me.
Penguin's mine. You need to stay focused on that cure, or innocent people will die.
You don't understand. I cannot complete my work without it. I must have it. Everything depends on it. Everything.
Penguin is protecting himself with your ice gun. How do I get past it?
Do I look like a fool? Why would I tell you that?
Because if I can't get past it, I won't help you get your suit. Think about it, Victor. You don't look well. If you're gone, what will happen to Nora?
Leave my wife out of this, Batman. Don't let this situation fool you. We are not friends. No!
Today is not a good day to push me, Victor.
Stop! There's a security override chip I built into the suit to stop anyone using my weapons against me.
How did that work out for you?
Why don't you go get the security override and figure out a way to stop him yourself?
It's been a pleasure, Victor. Keep thinking about that cure. I'll get you your suit back.
Cool. So now we're able to move on. And I might as well share a little bit more trivia while we're at it. So earlier in the video, right before we started that big fight sequence against the Titan, I saw this painting on the wall, and I stopped and looked at it, and I told you guys that it was a painting of Penguin with his parents when he was a kid. So Penguin, his real name is Oswald Cobblepot, and his origin story is, it changes a lot. So in, what's it called? In Batman Returns, the classic Tim Burton film with Penguin and Catwoman in it, in that movie, Penguin was actually like a really disfigured child that he was just really disfigured. Like, he actually looked biologically like a penguin in some ways. And his parents, who were very rich elites in Gotham, they basically got rid of him. They dumped him down a sewer, and he essentially, I guess you're led to believe, was raised by the Penguins. But yeah, so that was a little iffy. But then yeah, the thing that usually remains constant in Penguin's upbringing is that he does come from an elite family. So there are a number of elite families that kind of built and run Gotham City. The Waynes, the Cobblepots, those are the two main ones. And so it changes a lot. There are certain times where Penguin, he feels like the Waynes ruined his family. There's a little mini comic book series that came out a long time ago called Gates of Gotham that deals all about that. It deals all with Penguin feeling like Bruce Wayne's family ruined his. In fact, if you played the recent Telltale, Batman game, you run into Penguin, who really doesn't look like Penguin at all. I don't know where they got the design for him in that game, but so yeah, Penguin's story, it's different between the comics and the games and the movies. It's one of those things that's always kind of changing, but the one thing that's constant usually is that Penguin comes from a really rich family, the Cobblepots, and for, whatever reason, he dislikes the Waynes, he dislikes Bruce Wayne, and then of course he dislikes Batman, because Batman's always spoiling his endeavors. One thing that's interesting, I do have, so it's been a while since I said I collect all the comic books. It's been a little while since I've read a good comic book because I've just been really busy with YouTube and school and stuff. But I collect one series. It's Batgirl, and I know that they just wrapped up a story arc in the Batgirl comics that's called like Son of Penguin, and I'm a little curious about that. I don't know, I wouldn't doubt that Penguin has a son somewhere, and that's kind of the beauty of villains, is that you can always kind of tamper with their story. Like, saying Penguin has a son it wouldn't really change anything. It's not a huge change, you know. Yeah, but anyway, we're gonna come to this room here. I've been talking this entire time. But yeah, this is just, you know, it's a typical stealth encounter. There's not a whole lot going on. This is a really easy room to work with because it's a very big room. There's a lot of gargoyles so that you can do these inverted takedowns. This is a pretty simple stealth encounter. So you see this guy here. These heavily armored guys, these are really good guys to do the inverted takedowns on because you can't take them down with a typical stealth attack because they have that extra armor. So now what I'm going to do, this guy's holding a hostage. I'm going to zip up here and just do a ledge takedown. And then there's going to be a short little piece of dialogue.
What's happening in there? Have you lot stopped Batman yet? What about Freeze's suit? Answer me!
I saw you clear the room. It's awesome work, man. The name's Tom Miller.
You're part of Gordon's strike team. I've seen your file.
You have? I mean, yes, sir. Cobblepot's turned this place into a fortress. Someone ratted us out. Me and the boys got grabbed, brought here, and beaten the crap out of.
You're safe now. There are just 2 more of you unaccounted for.
Have you tried the Iceberg Lounge? Cobblepot like to take us in there to beat us up some more. If we're lucky, that's where they are. So that's the famous freeze suit.
Unfortunately.
Oh, what are you doing?
When I leave here, wait 10 minutes. Then get this over to Freeze. He won't be dangerous.
No problem, Batman.
Alright, and so now we're good to move on. We can confront Penguin in the Iceberg Lounge, as you see right there. Real quick, I want to point out, so there's someone who watches my videos recently named Nick. He goes by the username XND Games. I haven't replied to my comments yet, so I've been meaning to, but Nick pointed out in a comment that he really likes this because he said he usually doesn't watch walkthrough videos. He watches Let's Plays, but I don't think he said that, but he said he usually doesn't watch walkthrough videos, but he said he was really enjoying this series because my walkthroughs are almost like Let's Plays. You know, I don't just sit here and say, oh, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. I like to, I like to talk about the game. I like to talk about the franchise and what it means to me. And so my walkthroughs, for anyone new to my channel, my walkthroughs are typically like that. My walkthroughs contain a lot of Let's Play elements. In a lot of ways, I like to think of my walkthroughs as podcasts. You know, when I need to, sure, I make the commentary very informative and, just do this, do that. But a lot of the times, like during this, I don't need to tell you, hey, zip line across this room, go through this door. I don't need to tell you those things. You know to do those things. So during times like this, I like to use my commentary to, talk about the game, because at the end of the day, that games are what I love. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I'm really glad Nick made that observation, because that's exactly what I shoot for in my videos. And like I said, for any newcomers, that's the type of style you can expect from my videos. So if that sounds like something you'd like, go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, Penguin's going to be shooting at you, so just wait until he's done before you run across the gaps here. You're going to come to this area up ahead, and you're going to want to use the disruptor. So anyway, wait until he's done shooting. And you're going to use the disruptor to disrupt his weapon, and then you can go ahead and just sneak up to him.
Won't work from this range.
So boom. And now you're good to go. And then there's going to be another cutscene.
You're finished, Cobblepot.
No, I'm sorry. Please, don't hurt me.
I can't guarantee that.
Me neither. I tried to help you, Batman. I gave you the opportunity to end this and walk away, but oh no. You had to be the big man. Well, guess what? From up here, you look pretty small. Oh, don't look so sad. I've got a little surprise for you down there.
Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday.
I found him down there when I bought this place. Comes in handy.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday. So this is the boss fight I alluded to at the beginning of the video here. What you're going to want to do is you can see these blue vents on the ground. While they're open, or actually they'll be orange when you need to do it, but while they're open you're going to do your explosive gel, explode it, and that will cause him some damage. So you can do a quick fire explosive gel. I think it's left trigger and X, or left L2 and square if you're playing on the PlayStation. That's how you do the quick move for the explosive gel. You basically just fire it on the orange vents, you press it again to detonate it, and once you do it all 3 times, he'll go down. And like every good boss fight ever, this is going to consist of multiple waves. So anyway, you see here, Penguin is going to basically recharge Solomon Grundy. He looks really cool in this game, and that's just another perfect example of why I love these Arkham games. They use a lot of underused villains. You know, Solomon Grundy's the perfect example. Like I said, most people know Joker, most people know Scarecrow, most people know Catwoman. Not many people know Solomon Grundy. You wouldn't really know him unless you read comic books or something like that. So the fact that they gave this character more exposure, I really think that's a cool thing to do. And the boss fight's really fun too. It's pretty challenging. You can see I'm actually getting hit a few times. The reason I'm getting hit is because I'm being a bit more aggressive than I should. You want to lure him away from the vent. So you see right there, I tried to explode the vent while he was standing right next to it. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lure him away, and then you can see I have an easier time exploding the vent.
What have you done?
So that'll be the second of the 3 waves. I think I'm pretty sure he comes back. So anyway, go ahead and approach the big guy. And Solomon Grundy, you know, he's one of these villains that you sometimes feel bad for, because he's not. It's a little iffy, I guess, but he's not necessarily a bad guy. Like you can see right here, the reason he's attacking me is because he's chained up, and Penguin is basically torturing him so that he, you know, gets angry and takes it out on Batman. But Solomon Grundy is not necessarily a bad guy. I feel like Solomon Grundy is a villain that just got the short end of the stick, and he doesn't mean to do bad things, but what he does just naturally looks bad. Now this is probably the hardest part in the fight. You're going to explode the vents once again, but he's going to be shooting these rings at you. So you just got to kind of jump over the rings at the right moment. It's a little bit hard to get the timing down, but you will get a checkpoint, so there's not much to worry about there. And you're going to want to try to stand close to the vents, because you can see they'll only be open for a short amount of time. So there's 2. And you can see these annoying blue beams, they just keep slowing you down, but they don't really cause much damage, so just don't worry about taking the hits. Just do what you need to do. Explode the 3 vents, and that'll be the end of Solomon Grundy, who again, like, God, he just looks so cool in this game. They did a really good job with his character design. Alright, and so now to end the fight, you can run towards Penguin, give him a nice punch to the jaw, and that will be the end of the fight and of the video. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. I hope you are enjoying this walkthrough as much as I am. And yeah, go ahead and give Penguin what's coming to him, and I'll see you in the next video.
Where is Cobblepot?
Well, look who it is, Mr.
Enough. Freeze. Enough.
Of course. You will regret what you did, Mr. Cobblepot.
The cure, Freeze.
There isn't one.
What?
Perhaps I should elaborate. Creating an antidote to the disease that afflicts the clown was easy. Unfortunately, the cure degrades too quickly. It needs a restorative element, some kind of reforming enzyme. Without it, it breaks down before it can help its host.
I've seen this before.
Finding a suitable enzyme is not the only problem. It needs to be adapted, bonded to human DNA. That will take decades. Time, it appears you do not have.
What if I told you I know a man who's been exposed to that enzyme for centuries?
What man?
His name is Ra's al Ghul.
Bring him to me. All I need is a sample of his blood. It is your only hope.
Ra's al Ghul is dead.
Then you and the clown are doomed.
Not exactly. I need someone to tell me where the body is. Then I can go wake him up.
Blasphemer! You are not worthy to speak of the great Ra's al Ghul!
You are a fool, Batman. You've let your only hope escape.
No, Victor. If Ra's al Ghul is in Arkham City, I now have a trail right to him.